Welcome back to another episode of What Are We Watching? Alrighty, back again.
It's Wacky Key.
I don't like that one bit. We've never done that before. This moment.
What, you just did it.
No,
before we recorded.
We weren't recording though, so it's like
All
it
right.
didn't count.
So Nick started this intro earlier, which had me crying. He's like, "Hey guys, it's Goofy Nick and Wacky Keith back with."
I was doing it like we were like a morning radio show.
Yeah, I know, but I think we should.
We
Start...
need a soundboard that's like when we do dumb things.
Yeah, I want a plate breaking one. T-shirt. Or
Just
maybe
constantly.
You think Em would be cool if we just broke a couple plates during this episode?
I think she'd prefer it if we did.
Didn't?
Yeah. Did? Yeah.
Oh.
But it would have to be at like super inappropriate moments. Be like, and then this character died. Just plate crash.
So what are we talking about today?
Wow, I didn't. You don't want to talk about any movies?
No, we
then?
will, but
So the movie we're covering today is first animated movie that we're covering. My personal favorite. This was my pick. We're covering Surf's Up. Nice. So, had you seen this? You've never seen it. This was
No,
your
I
first
haven't
time
seen
seeing it.
we were going into it. We were actually like eating. I told my significant other that we were going to watch this for the next movie.
Yeah, and she
And
thought
we
it was
were-
a Happy Feet spinoff.
Yeah, so we
right?
were eating somewhere, and she's like, "Wait a second, you guys are doing the Happy Feet spinoff? You're not even doing Happy Feet?" And I was like, "I don't think that's the case."
That was a pretty good impression.
Yeah, she doesn't sound like that. My voice for other people is never. It's always the same.
It's usually the same voice, for
and
every
they
person.
never
You're
sound like that.
"Ugh."
Oh, we're doing Happy Feet too. No, but so it took no Googling, but like 11 minutes of convincing that this is not related to Happy
No
Feet.
Googling. Yeah, it's
That's not at all. It just
there
happens
is a
to be
nod to Happy Feet in this though.
Oh,
that
there
Emily
is.
pointed out, and I was like, all right. Sorry, I just had a hiccup. That
I
was weird.
thought you were doing like an otter noise or
No,
a
I
seal
was-
noise. You're like, art?
No, I just had a hiccup. Out of the gate, did you like it or did you not like it?
Oh yeah, it was good. It was actually
All right.
like you told me I was gonna like it, and I was
I was
just like,
super worried. You're gonna be like, that movie was dog shit.
No, it's
and then we were just
great.
about to be like, well, buckle up.
so it's great, and I'll give you my. So we always do our what we watched outside of this movie. So we were at my buddy Sean's house, not Sean from work. This is the other Sean. We talked about two Sean's last episode.
Two Sean's in your life, yeah.
So
Out
we
of
were
work
at his
and
house,
in work, Sean. Yeah.
and he has a small child, and she's great, but they watch like kid stuff. So
Yeah.
they were watching this show called what is it called? Steve and Maggie.
Steve and Maggie.
It's like this grown British man, and it's just the real reason I said he's British is because he like is global now. But he gets like 100 million views on his videos. This one guy, and he has these kid videos, mostly Halloween videos.
They're like YouTube videos.
And Maggie is a magpie bird puppet that he does.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's cool because I walked in and I was like, "Yo, what are we watching?" This dude's covered in. He's like covered in flour, just chilling with a bunch of animations behind him. I'm like,
Yeah.
"Yo, what is this?"
You're like, yeah, dude, this is why I've been
30
on this
minutes
website,
in
you
though,
know?
like we watched this for like an hour. 30 minutes in, I was just like literally like mesmerized.
Yeah.
They got like skeletons dancing, and I'm like, "Whoa."
Well, have you ever seen any of those? That's like those. Have you those? It's like the videos about like the dancing, like strawberries and stuff. It's like the.
No, I mean,
It's for like kids. You
I
put
don't
it on
have
for
a kid.
toddlers.
Yeah, I don't
I
have
don't either,
one,
but Emily puts
so-
it on when I'm acting up sometimes.
Oh, dude, I'm
Yeah.
not even joking. I might start watching this. But anyways,
It's so calming. Yeah.
we go from like an hour of that right into going to the movies. We went to go see this movie, Talk to Me, that night.
very different from this
So
YouTube.
think
man.
about this: hanging out with like this cool kid, watching this crazy kid programming,
Yeah.
getting sucked into that, going to literally seeing the scariest movie I've ever seen in theaters. Like I'm not even joking. I've seen
Yeah.
some scary movies in theaters. That was the scariest movie I've ever seen.
Actually,
in theaters.
I tweeted about this movie and I said like this was one of the scariest movies we've seen in a while, and a couple people were like, "Yep."
Yeah, you know, it is.
So
and then
it was,
and then we had this scheduled Surf's Up, and we literally
Yeah.
watched this when we got home because and I feel like I'm sounding dramatic, like, oh my god, like it was so scary. I didn't
Yeah.
know if I was gonna be. If we were just gonna go home and just like lay down, hit
you
the
would have been
lights,
thinking about it.
dude,
Yeah,
neither of us would have slept. So we put on Surf's Up to like palate cleanse,
yeah.
and let me tell you, it was great.
It does the job.
It brought me back to, not worried if I was gonna die in my sleep or not.
That's usually a good place to be.
Yeah, so it was like
So you
kids,
got- so you
kids
got that one
programming,
watch.
the scariest movie I've ever seen.
So is the kids programming a watch or a pass?
unless you have a child, it's probably a pass.
Yeah.
Because I don't know if it's acceptable to like
To just throw it on.
I don't know. I think if somebody saw you,
I think
like,
the official stance is against.
yeah, if somebody like walked in and you had that on your like YouTube recently watched, they'd be like, "What's up, bud?"
Because that's not like an old one. Like if I was watching like
No,
Hey
it's
Arnold
like
or something.
no,
they'd be
it's
like,
not like
nice.
a cartoon.
Like,
it's
like just a guy.
It's like he's teaching you. Like
Yeah.
it's cool because it's like teaching kids how to like speak and stuff.
But we
like,
already know our shapes and stuff.
Yeah,
so
it'd be weird.
that'd
It'd be like throwing.
bizarre.
It's not quite as crazy as throwing the Wiggles on, but it's like close.
So what about the next one?
So Talk to Me. Yeah, it's a brand new. It's in theaters now.
A24.
A24.
New A24 movie.
It's these two Australian guys. I'll get their names one second.
Oh, what is it like the dudes that wrote it?
It's their first movie. I can't believe like it for how crazy this movie is. You would think like they've done something. They have like a horror channel that I haven't checked out yet because I just found out about it. It's Danny and Michael Philippou. What is that? I'm probably saying that last name wrong, but I'm sorry. I just cannot read.
Shout out to those guys.
But yeah, the movie is like nuts.
How long was it?
It's like 90 minutes.
I'm
not even joking. It felt. I kept waiting for it to end because I'm like, oh my god, I know it's only 90 minutes.
Yeah.
So, I think the last scariest movie I've seen in theaters was The Conjuring, which I think if you didn't see it in theaters, you're like, oh, that movie's pretty scary. But I saw
that movie was. I remember that movie being pretty.
I saw it in theaters by myself.
He
literally at like 11
story,
a.m. on a Friday once. I saw it by myself in theaters. Literally the only person in the theater. Dude, the claps, dude, it felt like it was right behind you.
Right behind
I was
you.
just like, flexing, like tensed up, just like
you were flexing.
like not like flexing, like. But like
you're
literally,
just
when you just like tense your whole body and you're like sore.
I feel like there's moments like that where I'll come out of something like that and I'm like, I just paid for that.
Yeah.
It's to be terrified.
It felt like I was at like a haunted house and I was getting terrified. That's what this movie felt like.
Yeah. That's good.
Like,
though. It means that they did their job.
I'm not even joking. We went to buy a hoodie before the movie because usually she gets really cold and we didn't have one.
Yeah.
She didn't even wear it because we were sweating.
You were just.
I'm not even joking. I was sweating because I was like so stressed out about this movie.
Sorry for whoever sat in your seat afterwards.
Oh yeah, it was a wet mess.
Oh god.
But yeah, I mean, I don't even really want to go over the plot too much, other than it's like a newer version of like a Ouija board.
Yeah.
Like they have this hand, and basically like it's like a party trick, like a party game that they like.
You like shake the you
put the hole in your hand,
and
you say talk to me, and then like, you're talking to what you think is the dead spirits. Yeah. And then I'm not even joking. Like the trailer, I remember being like kind of like, oh, that seems pretty scary.
I thought the trailer did a good job.
The trailer looks like it's pretty scary.
Yeah.
The movie is. I couldn't even believe it because like that's like the lead in. That's what they do. It's like a bunch of kids at a party. They keep doing this Ouija type thing, like because they're all like, oh, I bet you won't
do it longer than 60 seconds.
Right.
Yeah.
But dude, unnerving.
Yeah. So that's a watch.
That's a watch.
That's a watch.
As long as you have like a solid stomach. Like I heard people were like passing out during it, and I'm like, dude, I was literally like gripping both seats, just like holding on. Like my forearms were like
on fire.
Yeah, it's like Jesus.
I just realized we do a lot of like this part. We used to do the dedicated watch or pass movies like episodes, and now all of our episodes is like watch if you like it, but pass if you didn't enjoy it.
Yeah, well, I would say watch, but then like that's how I am with other things. I'm like, yo, you should watch this, and somebody's like, yo, I get scared of like Halloween Town. I'm like, okay, well then don't watch that.
You're like, well, maybe you should just throw your TV out.
Like we were talking to Ethan, our friend at work, and we were talking about movies.
Shout out to Ethan.
And he's like, oh, dude, I haven't seen The Terrifier yet. Like, I should check that out. I was like, yeah, but like,
no,
like you can definitely check it out, but like it's not just like a horror movie. It's brutal. Like I would probably start with like some other things. Like,
it's not like other movies you should watch.
Like if you don't know what it is, it's probably not a fun time.
Yeah.
Like you're like, oh, I like stuff like this. Like, oh, I don't like stuff like that at all.
Be like, maybe we shouldn't say.
Yeah, talk to me. I was like that blew me away.
watch.
I would say if you like horror, go see that in the theater. It's cool because it's literally. I don't even know what the budget was. The budget says $4.5 million, so I guess it's a little bit higher than I thought it was. I mean, it just seemed, but it's out of Australia. I just like, I don't know. I kind of really like just different things. I don't know. And Sophie Wilde, she's the main.
Yeah.
And she's awesome.
Has she been in anything else that you want to shout out?
I think it's that, and I think she's in another movie that's out now called Red Shoes. Is that right? Am I right? I am wrong. No,
nice.
No, I was honestly looking at somebody else's IMDb at work, and they were in. Oh no, it was another movie that I watched. Never mind. They were also in the Red Shoes.
Nice.
She's in another movie coming out called The Portable Door this year. I don't know what that is, but yeah, she's a new up and coming actress. It's just like awesome. I just thought it was the craziest movie I've seen in a while. Like I remember being scared during The Conjuring, maybe The Ring when I was like 13 or whatever, being like horrified in the theater. I don't know. I guess like it takes a lot to actually rock you in the theater.
Yeah, it looks they did their job then. That's good.
Yeah, I was good. Like, that's the movie.
Did you? Was that anything else? I didn't really.
I just want to add that we were surrounded by actual children during it, which was alarming. Because like I'm not joking, 5 or 6 year old kids were in this theater with us. Like a whole family was behind us.
You said they were like 10. You're like, this is not the movie you think it is.
But then there was like literally 5-year-olds. My mind was blown. I was
they're gonna never sleep.
The one girl said, "Oh my god, that's so much blood," and I was like, she doesn't understand how crazy this scene actually is.
She's gonna unpack this in years to come.
She's not gonna have fun later in life. But anyways, I think I really overspoke on that, but it was awesome.
That's good.
Got a little excited there. Too much coffee, you know how it is.
I guess. Wacky Keith
back with a little review.
I don't want that.
You don't want that, huh? Yeah, me neither.
So I watched one of my favorites, Odd Life, Timothy Green. No, I haven't mentioned it in a while.
I think I'm desensitized to that at this point.
You didn't have the reaction. Well, I'll try it again in the future episode.
Just give me like 30 seconds and try it again, and we'll see how it goes.
I did watch Uncle Buck. Have you seen that? That's really good.
That's a good movie.
I haven't seen it in a while. That was just I was looking for something to throw on. Other than that, I really didn't watch. Well, we watched a couple movies for the show, and that's really it. So yeah, then this movie we are going to be talking about, like you said, Surf's Up, first animated one. I'm excited for this one.
Yeah,
so,
I'm actually more excited now. I wasn't not excited, but once I saw the movie,
needed to build up to it. Yeah, it's understandable. So let's get into the plot. I'll walk us through this one just because this is my childhood. So it's a mockumentary style movie. It's basically like it's all animated. It's supposed to be like they're following a film crew around. There's this like big surf contest, and they're interviewing people. Basically, this penguin. Played by we didn't talk about the cast. I'll go over the cast real quick. So the main character, Cody Maverick, he is a penguin, 17 years. I guess they're all penguins. So stupid. He is played by Shia LaBeouf, or voiced by Shia LaBeouf. Zeke, aka Big Zeke Topanga. Zeke Topanga is played by Jeff Bridges. The lifeguard Lonnie is played by Zoe Deschanel. Chicken Joe, who's probably my favorite character in this movie, is voiced by John Heder.
He's from Sheboygan.
He's like, yeah, dude, I grew up surfing on Lake Michigan. And that's awesome. So Mario Cantone plays Mikey Abramowitz. Oh, he's the talent scout. James Woods plays Reggie Belafonte. He's basically the competition promoter. And then we got a bunch of other people. Dietrich Bader plays Tank the Shredder Evans. He also voiced. So I thought this was funny. Him and John Heder. So John Heder played Napoleon, and Dietrich played what's his name? Rex Kwon Do.
Yeah.
In Napoleon Dynamite. So that was pretty funny. We got a couple other people. Dana Belbin plays Cody's mom. Brian Posner plays Cody's brother. And then there's 2 cameos that I want to shout out here. They got Kelly Slater and Rob Machado, who are very famous surfers. They made like penguin versions of themselves, and they're kind of like they're like reporting on the contest, which I thought that was so cool.
I picked up on that at the end. That it's actually them playing themselves.
It's actually them.
That's funny.
It's pretty wild. So anyway, so the movie starts off. You cover Cody Maverick. He is in the town of Shiverpool. So he lives in Antarctica. He basically lives with his mom and his brother. He really wants to be a surfer. He's not very good in the beginning of this movie. Basically everyone's like, all right, dude, like you're a penguin, you surf. I mean, we're all penguins, but like, what are you doing?
Yeah, I think I missed that. I think I assumed that he was like an established surfer. But then I realized I was like, oh, he actually is not good.
Mm-hmm.
I just assumed like he's like the up and coming guy that just wasn't noticed. But I was like, oh no,
he sucks. Yeah. That was rude. I mean, it was a penguin. It's not.
Sorry, Shy. If you're listening, Shy, we're sorry.
Cody Maverick, if you're out there, man.
Yeah, Shia LaBeouf
from Shiverpool.
we like you, Shy. I think. Do we? Yeah, we do. Right?
I think so.
Yeah.
So he tells a story about how he became a surfer. He looked up to this surfer called Big Z. He's basically was just a big famous surfer. I guess he would probably be considered like the Kelly Slater for him, which is kind of funny now that I'm thinking about it. So he's talking about how he has a really funny dialogue where he's like, yeah, he visited us. He came to Shiverpool and he came right up to me, and it's like a little like a flashback, but it's him like pushing his way through. So he embellishes a ton of stories throughout this, which I think is just really silly. But anyway, so fast forward a little bit, you're kind of learning who he is, and then you find out kind of separately that they're doing this Big Z Memorial Surf Contest. So you find out that Big Z passed away, and they do this big memorial surf contest. So now you meet Michael, or Mikey. He's basically a talent scout. He plays like a really, I guess he's like a sandpiper is what kind of bird he is, right?
Yeah, he's a
really skinny,
weird,
really tiny bird. He basically is trying to he's scouring the globe for the next big thing, is what the promoter says. So he basically comes to Shiverpool. He's going all over the globe. He meets Cody, asks basically, does anyone here surf? He says, quote, does anyone in this frozen wasteland surf? And everyone's like, oh, Cody does. So he basically jumps at the chance to try and try out for it. He tells his mom, he's like, Mom, there's a scout coming to watch me surf. Like, why don't you come? And she's like, nah, no, I'm okay. I'm chopping. Basically, he doesn't get a single wave, and they start to leave. Cody chases the whale and ends up like kind of pushing his way into being a part of the contest.
Yeah, and he really swims fast.
Oh yeah, he's chasing a whale.
He keeps getting blown back. Like at one point, he's on the whale's tail and gets like flipped like so far back. Like, oh, I guess he missed the boat.
Yeah,
and then he just keeps coming.
Oh, he doesn't stop. Yeah. He's fearless. So, but then he sees him. The promoter is like, all right, like, don't pull that shit in. And so they're going to, as a side note, they're going to Pengu Island, which is pretty funny. It's supposed to be like somewhere like in Hawaii-ish related. Right.
It's like the surfing mecca for the
surf capital of the world. So they get there, or on the whale, on their way over, you meet the character Chicken Joe, who's voiced by John Heder, who's the voice of Napoleon Dynamite. And this description is really a bummer that they used for him. It says, he's a nice but dim-witted rooster. And he's from Sheboygan, Wisconsin.
And Sheboygan is where, so you were talking about John Candy and Uncle Buck. Yeah. When he's in Home Alone, Sheboygan is where his Polka Polka band, that's where they have to go back to. They're from Sheboygan.
They're going to Sheboygan.
Yeah, or they're going to Sheboygan, right?
Oh, yeah, he's the Polka King of
the Polka King of the...
Oh, I can't...
West, right?
Something like that.
The Midwest? I mean, they're from that area.
They're from Sheboygan.
Sheboygan, right?
Yeah. So his surfboard, just as like a side thing, what killed me is Chicken Joe. Did you see what his surfboard was? It's a piece of wood, but it's painted like a stalk of corn.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
And he's like, yeah, man, I'm from Lake Michigan. He's like, I was the only one in my town. I was like, all right. They flash to a lot of like Polaroids in this movie too. Did you pick up on that?
Yeah.
And this one, it's just like him, and there's a bunch of like cartoon ducks all around him, and he's just like, you can't see what I just did, but he's basically just like hanging 10. He's just out there on his board, which was like really funny.
So he's always kind of like the outcast, because now he's a chicken with a bunch of penguins.
Yeah.
So he's always been kind of like that guy.
And there's a couple really good chicken bits that are thrown around in this movie. So as a backstory a little bit, you find out, I said that they show a couple different like pictures, like fake Polaroids. So Cody's dad, he didn't know his dad, and they flash to it when he's like introducing himself. He's like, yeah, I didn't know my dad. And it's a Polaroid of like an older looking penguin. You're like, oh, that's nice. And he's like, yeah, I mean, I guess like I wasn't the only penguin whose dad was, eaten. And then it zooms out. And there's a fucking orca.
Shamu just
like jumping.
Just about to eat him.
Just like 2 seconds away from eating him.
That's brutal.
Like, oh my God.
Yeah, so then it's not, so Ryan Posen, his brother, what's his brother's name again?
Glenn,
yeah. Like he's the bigger penguin. He's almost like the older brother, like the mom. He's like the father figure, I guess, of their family. He's just shits on him all the time,
constantly. He's the one line is he's talking about like, I guess penguins, like the men sit on the eggs and stuff like that. And he's like, yeah, I don't know why you can't just grow up and be a man sitting on an egg, It's just like, and then it flashes to another penguin like chasing. It's like he's like, come to daddy. It's just so stupid.
And the voices that they chose are
perfect.
Killer.
Yeah, they're perfect.
Like his voice kills me.
Yeah, he's like, I'm not touching you. So now they are at Pengu Island. Cody like finagled his way in. They're there for 2 seconds, and now you're introduced to Lonnie, who is a lifeguard voiced by Zoe Deschanel. She runs right past him. There's like a little kid that's like pretending to drown.
Oh, Arnold.
Arnold, yeah. The little you get introduced to like this squad of like baby penguins. So this one penguin, Arnold, he's like drowning in the surf. So she runs by him, and he's instantly like, "I'm in love. Like I gotta go. I gotta go talk to this penguin. I gotta go talk to this girl." So he's meeting. You're kind of getting introduced to a lot of people. Around this time, you're also introduced to Tank the Shredder Evans, who's kind of like the reigning champ of this Big Z Memorial thing. He's just fucking. His voice.
Oh my god, Diedrich
Bader,
Bader, dude! Holy shit!
Tank has the quotes that he has in this are awesome. He is basically, I think it was, what was it? He was the 9-time champ, 9-time defending champ. Since it was first held after like Big Z died. So you're introduced to him. He's telling Cody's like explaining who Big Z was. He's like, Joe, that was the shrine for Big Z. He's telling this like really heartfelt moment, and then it's just interrupted with Tank lobbing rocks at it, and he's like, oh, and another one, yeah, like just cheesing it up the whole time. And so he's like instantly, Cody gets super pissed, goes up to him, and he starts like instantly talking trash, and he's like, I'll take you on anywhere. Cody sucks at surfing, by the way. And Tank's like, oh, this will be awesome. The promoter gets involved, and they basically start drawing a crowd. And then this is the scene up to this. He's basically in the water, he's paddling out, and it's like kind of like a little interview with Cody. He's like, all right, what do you when you're in that first wave, like, how's it going to be? And he's like, you're going to watch it over and over and over again. Oh, yeah. And he drops in and like instantly eats shit horribly, and they play it over and over and over again.
And it's just him falling into the wave, falling into the wave, falling into the wave, falling. And they're like, ooh,
he's just yelling in the background. So that was pretty funny. He falls off that wave. He gets pushed under the ocean, he basically just keeps getting slammed. He hits the reef pretty hard, and he's knocked unconscious. Did you want to take over?
It sounds like you got it, man.
All right. I feel like I was...
This is your movie.
For the listener, I love this movie.
No, this is your movie.
I told Keith, I was like, hey, guys. Hey, and guys, I mean just the Keith.
Just guy. Hey, guy.
Hey, guy.
I'm going to hit this plot. And I was like,
I'm going to go in on this plot.
I'll jump in and tell you stuff like Diedrich Bader's voice destroys me. And like the whole movie, I was just thinking about him as the neighbor in Office Space. Oh my god,
that's
Lawrence.
True. Yeah.
And then have you ever seen the Drew Carey show?
I haven't.
No, oh my
so
god.
Sorry.
Well, no, I'm a little bit older than you, and I didn't have cable. I was on. So that's like what we watched. But
Keith, what was the war like?
He's Oswald on that. He's like Drew, like, is a huge like supporting character on that. He's just everything he's in. He has the same.
He's
voice.
Got a great. He just plays a great character.
Everybody has the same voice, but like his voice is so distinct.
Well, he plays the same character in all.
I can't even do that.
Man.
It's like yeah,
man. So anyway, we are. So you see, Lonnie has to jump in and rescue him. Rescues him, brings him to her uncle. Basically, drags him out into the middle of the woods, and he brings her to an uncle who he calls a geek. Right. To help basically Cody recover. He's basically like an old guy, and you get the vibe like, oh, he knows, like, he's lived on the island for a lot of years. He knows what he's doing. And then he realizes he steps on a sea urchin, and then he pulls out the thing, and he has to pee on him. But did you see the line they did the interview with the sea urchin? Do you remember that scene?
No.
So they interview the sea urchin, whose name is Ivan, and he's like, yeah, I heard. He's like, oh, looks like you stepped on a sea urchin. And it cuts over really fast to Ivan the sea urchin. It's just like all these little things. He goes, stepped on me. The guy was dancing on me.
Yeah, that's what, yeah.
It's so good. If you watch this movie and you don't think these scenes are funny.
Yeah, no, that I do remember that now. That's great.
So he basically...
And then it cuts back to
Geek being like, oh, I gotta, poison's released. I gotta pee on this.
Yeah,
guy.
Well, first he drinks the water. He's like, oh yeah, you got to make sure you get some of this. And you're thinking, at first I was like, oh, okay, so maybe that's like some kind of, and I think he's even thinking, oh, is that some kind of elixir?
Yeah.
But he's just drinking water so he can pee.
Yeah, and he's like, I'm gonna make some water sounds. It's so funny.
Oh, and then all the kids, they cut to the Arnold and the other kids as like they interview them.
Oh yeah, they're like, what do you do if you step on a sea urchin? And all the kids are like,
pee on him. So that's all like interspliced while he's getting peed on.
Yeah, because it's like a mockumentary, so they cut to like a lot of different people, which I think is pretty funny. So there's now the two different plots in this movie is Cody with this old guy and everyone else kind of wondering where he is, and you're just like other people are just back preparing for the contest.
Right.
Cody wakes up the next day. He's basically, his foot is doing a lot better. He's feeling fine. He ends up that he can't find his necklace. He had like a big Z in a necklace, which earlier in the movie, he was like, yeah, he came right up to me and he gave me this one-of-a-kind necklace. Did you see that? You know what I'm getting? Yeah. And there's basically like a dude standing there with like an armful of 1,000 of them. It's like, yeah, he just walked right up to me and gave me this one-of-a-kind necklace. And like, it's just so good. So he loses it. He is essentially dropped off. The older guy, who's voiced by Jeff Bridges, who essentially just plays the dude in penguin form.
It really is.
This entire movie.
The second I heard his voice, I was like, oh, shit.
He's like, hey, man.
It's the dude. And
You're
he's
like,
playing,
right.
he's like the same kind of like laid back, just like,
yeah.
yeah, man, you know.
That's like, your opinion, man. Like, all right. That's a good movie, The Big Lebowski.
Oh, my God,
We
yeah.
need to cover that one. That's a crowd pleaser for sure. So he ends up finding his necklace. He brings it back to Cody, who's just chilling on a log. He basically doesn't want to go back to the beach because of the great shame. And it is pointed out that it is koa wood, which is like a lot of surfboards are made out of koa wood. Geek says all the best boards are made out of koa wood, and then he offers to make him one. So they're dragging this log back to Big Z's house, or Geek's house, excuse me.
Oh,
dang.
Spoiled it early.
Spoiler. And the log gets away from him. Basically, they're chasing after it. They go right by Chicken Joe, who's like out looking. He's like, Cody. And they flash to him. This is one of the funnier things. They're like, yeah, Joe, like, where are you? He's like, yeah, I got to find my buddy Cody. He's like, I've known him for about, like 3 days now. So I guess that means we're pretty close. It's just so good. So the log lands on a private beach. They go down there. Geek is pretty dismissive of it. He's like, yeah, it's a beach. He says, I think the quote is, if you've seen one, you've seen them all. So he's like, oh, no, let's go check it out. Cody rushes down there. And he quickly realizes that a lot of Big Z's old surfboards are there. And he's like, oh, shit. This is where he made his boards. Like, this was his spot. And then kind of separately, you see Geek walk over to a sign, and he dusts it off, and it says Big Z's house. And then you realize that it was Big Z the whole time. That he's just like some old dude living in
You're like, there's no way there's two giant-sized penguins that know something about surfing. One just happened to disappear.
Just happened to appear.
And one's here now. What the?
This is another great part where Cody like embellishes stuff, and he's like, yeah, so he's like narrating. He's like, yeah, so I just wanted to give him some space. I didn't want to like, approach him too fast. And then as soon as he's done that in the movie, Cody goes, oh my God, you're alive. He's like, you're Big Z. Runs up to him. So like, it's funny, the narration that he's telling and versus like the reality of it. And Big Z's just like, oh yeah, I am. And that's
like, great.
He's like fucking rad.
He's like,
dude.
yeah, sweet. Now I have to teach you how to surf.
Yeah, this is going to be a real fun,
You're my Padawan.
90 minutes or however long this movie ended up being. So yeah, now he basically finds out that it's Big Z. He asks him to teach him how to surf, and he basically is like, all right, I'll show you the ways, but you have to make your own board. So they're trying to make his own board.
They're trying.
This is another great scene. So Big Z's trying to show him how to like plane the board. And
yeah, so he's showing him. And he's basically doing it.
Yeah, he's
like, yeah, you just want to do it. Just
long, smooth strokes. And he's just like
keeps doing it.
It goes on. There's like the pile of shavings. It's like a time lapse. It's like getting bigger and bigger.
And then he basically, Cody tries to take it and do it. He's like, oh, no.
Yeah, he's like,
and he's basically just doing it anyways.
Yeah, he puts like, he gives him the little shell that he's using to carve it, and he's like, find the board within. And every time he gets a little closer, he's like, don't be afraid to mess it. He's like, oh my God. So he touches it. Cody touches it to the board, and Big Z instantly goes, you're doing it wrong. That whole scene. Oh my God. You can probably tell. So usually Keith and I will maybe jot down a couple quotes that we hear. I haven't written down a single thing. And I'm pulling all these quotes purely from my childhood. I just love this whole movie. So Cody takes the shortcut, which seems to be a theme in this movie. He chips away this battered up board, and Big Z is like, "Oh yeah, it's a nice ride, man. Like let's see what it's got." So he jumps in there, instantly breaks the surfboard in half. So Cody is now like super pissed off. He says like, "I'm not coming back," and Big Z's like, "Yeah, you'll be back. Like I got another piece for you. Don't worry." So he's storming off. Basically, I think this is the part. Is this where he storms off? Well, he does storm off. He basically ends up coming back, and Big Z is telling him to do like little things to like prepare to surf. He's like, do you remember the scene? He has like the stuff over his eyes.
Yeah.
He's like meditating and stuff like that. And you're like, how the fuck is this? Like, it's a direct rip off of Karate Kid.
That's what I was thinking the whole time. Yeah. I was like, oh, this has now gotten into the Karate Kid montage.
Yeah.
Wax on, wax off.
Yeah.
All these things that this kid's like, why does this have to do with anything with karate?
He's got like the little toy surfer, and he's like, woo, a big wave. And he's like, oh, now you got a big wave. It's so stupid. Anyway, so he, I think this. Oh no, we ended up.
He makes his own board, right?
Yeah, he ends up making his own board. So after he storms off, he meets Lonnie and says like, that's Big Z, and she's like, yeah, I fucking know. Like it's my uncle. Like
yeah, I've known the whole time.
The whole time,
I've been sworn to secrecy.
Yeah, I've been living in.
He's like, why didn't you tell me though? Like, aren't we cool?
He's like.
She's like, I just met you, dude.
I just met you.
I'm over here helping Arnold.
So yeah, that was our Zoe Deschanel impression.
Yeah, we did before we watched it. We didn't know any of the voices. I knew Shia LaBeouf because when you started the movie, like from like streaming service, I said like you know Shia LaBeouf starring as Cody in this movie, blah blah, and it has the ... Yeah, that was the only person I knew. So
you didn't recognize her voice?
No, we did, but that's what I'm saying is like you see the character, she starts talking, and you're like, oh, instantly we know who that is.
Did you recognize Jeff Bridges?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I recognize Diedrich. Yeah. I could not remember his name, and I was just like, I was like, "Yo, he's in Office Space," and she's like, "Okay, cool, sweet." Obviously Jeff Bridges. I got James Woods as the I thought he was a beaver with that hair he had.
Yeah, Reggie Belafonte.
He's not a beaver. Beavers don't live in the ocean, so I don't know why I thought he was a beaver and not an otter.
Yeah, he's a pretty good character.
But yeah, he's great. I like him a lot. He was in Once Upon a Time in America, Videodrome, Casino. He's in a bunch of stuff. He's an excellent actor.
I don't know how they got some of these names.
And that was the other thing. That was the other point she made when we were watching it. She's like, "Do you think it matters?" And I was like, "Not to a kid, but like, if your parents are watching it and they heard like James Woods, and they're like, oh,
you're like, oh, that's cool.
But like, and then I was thinking, well, what about that mid range, like teenagers that are like, oh, it's Shia LaBeouf.
Yeah.
Oh, I've seen Big Lebowski. That's Jeff Bridges. That's Zoe. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it makes people talk about it more. Probably
it draws more people to.
And like,
to
if you have their names, if you have their names on like a movie poster, it's like,
oh, it's name recognition.
Yeah, let's go.
Yeah.
It's not. It doesn't seem quite as important for like voice acting, but I guess it really is kind of.
It has pull. I mean, people definitely like if you associate some of these big names with a project, I think you automatically assume like, oh, this is a big deal.
Yeah,
like I should.
Oh, they got them. Oh, yeah, we're in.
Obviously, they got Zoe, so we gotta go.
Hey, Zoe Deschanel. Hey, dude, I'm in.
Nice.
Freaking sign me up twice. I'll see it twice, back to back. Bullet train it.
Anyway, I don't even remember where we were. So he goes back, and Lonnie basically persuades him to like, nah, go back. Like he must see a lot in you to like be telling you this and being on the beach and stuff like that. So then he makes his new board. So Big Z is running him through all these bullshit things that we were just talking about earlier. They decide that Cody ends up pulling like a little prank on Z, which I thought this is a really cool part in the movie. He like basically pushes him out while he's asleep on the surfboard, and he's like, oh, you better wait. He's like, oh, breakfast. And Big Z sits up, and it's like right as a wave's coming. It pushes him in, and Cody's like cracking up. And he's like, are you finally having fun, Cody? And he's like, yeah, that was pretty good. And he's like, all right, you ready to surf? And I'm like, oh, I love it. So then it's basically just like this awesome montage to this soundtrack is awesome.
Oh, yeah.
In this movie. It's like the first couple songs. There's like a bunch of Green Day songs in here. It's just, I've just like thrown this soundtrack on. Just at work, wherever I am.
And there's a Sugar Ray song.
Yeah.
Is that this part?
Yeah.
I just remember hearing Mark McGrath's voice. I didn't know the song, but I knew
it's during that. It's actually it was during that the surfing montage. It's
then,
just so
then earlier in this drive, Incubus Drive is in there.
yeah. It's so good.
That was not the song.
The rest of this one is just going to be Keith doing, just singing about the. Oh no, he's going to be singing the songs, not about the songs.
Oh, the New Radical song is the other one I remember.
Yeah.
So. I think we're good at that.
I think we're in the wrong podcast.
Yeah,
business.
I think we should just do
like a spoken
hummed.
word.
Yeah, no words, just like the
like that. It's all going to be scatting.
Yeah,
of like famous
scatting
songs.
of songs. You know. Don't worry about Spotify. Come check out our pod. We'll ruin your day.
Royalty free music. Anyway, so there's this big surfing montage, which is awesome, and then basically Cody brings up like they're sitting on the beach and they see a barrel, a wave that's barreling, and he goes, "That's the best place to be. Like once you get into the barrel, you never want to get out." And then it's actually those are real interviews from actual surfers that are like talking about what it's like to be in the barrel of a wave. Like they do that montage.
Yeah,
those are real surfers. Yeah. Similar how they got like Kelly Slater and stuff like that. One of them is Machado. I think he's one of the surfers that's like they're from real interviews, which I thought was kind of cool.
Oh, that is pretty cool. I didn't know that.
But so he's talking about it, and then Cody, they're both like, "Man, we just love it. Like it's so great." And then Cody's just like, "Yeah, how many points would that get you in a contest?" And Big Z kind of gets a little mad at him, like, "You're not seriously going to still do that." Like, so Cody asked him if he would go and watch him, and he's like, "No, it's not what it's about." And then Cody basically bluntly is like, why does everyone think you're dead? And then you start to realize that like Tank was kind of the next generation of surfing, and he was a very old school kind of laid back guy, and basically he was just like, all the winning got to me. Like I thought I was like this big presence in the world, and he's like, that's not what it was about. So like I just decided to get out of it, and which I thought was like, damn, surfing penguins, man.
Is this where they show the clip again?
Yeah, they show the Big Z accident, but they highlight it and like zoom in, and he like dips out of the wave before it crashes.
Because the first time they show you just see his board come crashing down. You're like, oh,
and you assume that he died.
But the second time you saw him, basically flip out the back of the
out the back of the wave. Good. So basically he's upset that Big Z gave up. He ditches the necklace and is kind of just like, whatever, dude. Like I don't need you. You meet up with Chicken Joe again, and now they're just like, all right, contest is like 2 seconds away from beginning.
And this contest is Chicken Joe, Cody, and Tank.
Well, it's a lot of people at first. So the first scene.
Oh yeah, you're right. It's
really rough.
That's right.
They paddle out. The first wave knocks out the entire competition except those three.
Yeah. Okay. So very quickly, it's just those three.
So there's a ton of quotes that I'm going to come back to, but like I thought it would just be good to outline, like just finish up with the plot. So they make it to the finals. Cody is like, actually, they call him the Wipeout King. They're like, hey, good news, everybody. The Wipeout King is back. Cody is back. So they make it to the finals, which is like pretty wild. Really, really bad weather. So they're surfing. It ends up being Joe, Cody, and Tank, basically just surfing in the finals the next day. It's like really, really bad weather. They're taking this huge wave. They end up like paddling in, and Tank realizes that he's probably not going to win, so he decides to try and sabotage Cody. They go into this area that's like outside of the competition called the Boneyard. It's basically just like there's a lot of rocks and stuff like that, and it's really dangerous.
I would say this is the equivalent of Lion King's Elephant Graveyard.
That's true. That is an astute observation.
Sorry, continue.
No, that's good. That's good.
Please continue.
Keith's first comment in 45 minutes. I'm so sorry, everyone. You can, for our 3 listeners that care about.
Cancel that.
Anywho.
Just cut that out.
Sabe, you want to bark again so we can...
Please.
Out of nowhere, my dog decided to just like act up for the first time in the 6 years that I've known her. Anyway. So they are chased into this area called the Boneyard. It's not looking good. They crash, and then Big Z basically comes to the rescue to save Cody and Tank. So they're outside of the competition bounds. So Big Joe wins, but if you go outside, like there's Tank is in danger, Cody's in danger. So they're trying to save them, essentially. So out of nowhere, you see that Big Z shows up. saves the day. They go back to the beach with everybody, and basically Big Z is standing in front of everyone. And this older, which I don't know how they did this. They made a penguin look old.
They did.
It was wild. And it was like, Z? And he's like, hey, everyone. He's like, yeah, I was lost for a little while, but I'm back now. In like the classic like dude voice. Instantly does like a dig at Tank, which I thought was really funny. And then it's just kind of like, yeah, it wasn't what it was about. Winning isn't important. The promoter comes up to him and is like, oh, look, I brought Big Z back. And he's like, no, man, like, forget this. Like, so basically he brings everyone over to this private beach and closes out the movie by saying like, just enjoy surfing. Like, it's not about a contest. And then it closes out with, I'm trying to remember the song that was at the end.
The last song?
Yeah. Oh, it's the New Radicals song.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Okay.
Yeah, so and then the final scene is Big Z and Cody like on this beautiful swell, like the sun shining in slow motion, and that song's playing, and then it just fades out.
Just like that. That was actually how it went.
We couldn't sing the real version because we were going to get sued. And that, in my one breath that I took to say the whole plot, was Surf's Up.
Yeah.
The plot of Surf's Up.
And I will say, as a grown adult, seeing this for the first time, I was actually like not even just saying as like it was cool for an anime movie. It was a good movie.
It was a good movie. I will give a shout out to my dad. This is in his top, I'm going to say 5 movies of all time. He said that this movie, along with a couple others, if this is on at any point in time, if it's like on TV, if someone's watching it, he will stop what he's doing and watch it.
That's awesome.
He loves it.
Yeah. This has been pitched as a Boyd family special for, I don't know, years at this point.
A very long time, yeah.
And I just always assumed it was just like Happy Feet. And I can't even tell you if I've seen Happy Feet. I swear I have, but I couldn't tell you the plot. I just know there's penguins involved.
It's dancing penguins.
I know it's not Mr. Popper's Penguins.
No.
Jim
and it's
Carrey.
not the penguin played by Burgess Meredith in the 60s version.
No, it's not. No, it's not.
Could you imagine if it was him?
Oh my
You're
God. They really
crap waves and
they really yeah.
So there is a nod to Happy Feet. I think I said this at the beginning.
Run me through that because I don't know it.
In the beginning. So now we're going to just get into the quotes and some of the funnier stuff. So in the beginning, he basically is like, do you surf? Like, what else do you do? Like, other than surf, what do you do? Like, Cody's being interviewed. He says, what? Like, sing and dance?
Oh, the singing and dancing penguins from
because I think they came out at like the same time.
Okay,
that makes sense. Emily actually pointed that one out yesterday.
That makes sense. Okay, that's cool.
But did you have any like favorite? Like, were there any quotes that you remember or moments that you remember that you wanted to talk about? I have a list for like 10.
Oh no, that's cool. I like how excited you are about this. I just thought the voice acting is awesome. Like, I was like blown away every time I discovered somebody else that was in it. I was like, oh my God. But James Woods' character as I was calling him an eager beaver the whole time because I was like, I think he's a beaver.
What is he?
He's an otter.
He's an otter. Okay.
But so he has hair at the beginning.
Yeah.
It's like spiky hair. And I don't know why. I don't think beavers have spiky hair, but for some reason I'm like, oh, it's a beaver. It's
you
not.
Find out it's a tube.
Well, because there's a rooster.
Yeah.
There's a chicken Joe. So I'm like, oh, well, maybe there is somehow it's like a weird, all these animals
like a weird
washed
thing.
up here or something. But he's an otter.
Yeah.
But yeah, he tries to be a promoter the whole time.
Yeah. He's always on.
The whole thing is almost like one step ahead of him, but he's always like, oh yeah, guys, I did this.
Yeah.
The whole movie.
If you notice, all of the surfboards that they're using at the competition have a little logo of his head on it.
He's like the
guy, Reggie Belafonte.
He's like selling. He's like a used car salesman.
But he does a great
just
job.
like, you know what I mean? Like he's like Matilda's dad. Danny DeVito.
Which is pretty wild.
Yeah, he's great. I don't know his voice, and then the whole thing at the end where he's like tries to tell people
He's like, I brought Z back from the dead.
Yeah, and then because at one point they think Cody died too, right?
Yeah,
and they're like, oh yeah, look at this. We're just like it's basically creating miracles or something.
Yeah,
and then awesome part I think is when that Mikey whatever the shorebird.
Yeah, who's like does all the work for the promoter.
He steals his hair.
Yeah, he steals his tube.
He's like, you know what, you're fired. And he's like,
I can't imagine a better day.
Dude, that part.
And he flies away with his hair.
I was like, this is perfect.
Yeah.
Like that kind of stuff is like bread and butter. I know you're going to talk about it, so I'm not going to get into it. But the trophies.
Oh, you can take that one. Yeah,
I don't know because I feel like you have the actual quotes for it. But Diedrich Bader talking about polishing his trophies.
Yeah. So these are a lot of these scenes, which I'm think Keith's going to talk about, like with this one, the trophies, there's a lot of like individual scenes that have nothing to do with the plot. So that's why like I didn't really cover a lot of them during it.
God,
but these are all like, so this is just one. They're interviewing Tank about like, you know, what does it mean to you to win the contest? And then it like does.
He has his. I'm gonna just go from memory here because I've only seen this once now, and my brain does not work. But he has a bunch of trophies, and he has names for all of them, right?
Yeah.
I don't remember the names, but I think they're all like ladies' names.
They're all girl names. Yeah.
Like Maria is one of them, I think.
Yeah.
And he's just like he keeps showing them like excessively.
Yeah.
And he's like talks about polishing them. And then his mom calls down and is like, Tank, are you polishing your trophies again? He's like, no, I'm talking to my friends. And then she's like, so then he's obviously pissed off. And he's like, I'm gonna come back and polish these later or something. He's like, is that it?
It's so there's this like really like smooth like mood music in the back, and then it like flashes right in. And he goes, I'm gonna polish them later.
Dude, that's the voice. You might have the Dietrich voice.
I think I might. It's not gonna get me.
What does he keep saying in Office Space?
What
does he keep? He keeps because he keeps talking through the wall, but he says something.
Yeah,
more
Channel
like,
12, man.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Good.
He's scrambling illegal channels. Oh yeah, dude.
That scene is really good. He has another Tank has another. It's like another interview, and they're basically because he is the champ. So they're like, it just flashes to him out of nowhere, and he goes, the quote, which I'm pulling all of this from memory. He goes, "A role model, no, but I do consider myself someone everyone should look up to." It's just so good.
But he's like, and it's funny because he's like the big brolic penguin, but he's just like goofy looking.
Oh
like, he's just like
he's got like tribal
top
tattoos.
He's like the exact dude you would think that would be like. Yeah, dude. So what? I just went to Burger King. I got 4 Whoppers, and I don't care. That's all protein. I'm fucking huge, dude.
I'm huge.
They got like little toothpick legs, but they're just kind of like got a barrel, like
the big barrel chest. Yeah.
Yeah, they're like fat content, and their body's probably like 38%. But they're like, dude, bench is up though. I'm good. They got like that weird hairy neck sticking out, the hair sticking out the back of their little tank top.
Their tank top that hasn't been washed since the Cold War.
Like, I'm fucking big. So what? But yeah, that's the kind of guy he looks like. But the actor is like the goofiest looking dude.
Yeah, he really is. So there's another really good. We were talking about a little earlier, like it's kind of catered to older people. So there's a line when the first time they're paddling out into the ocean, like the first scene, it's Cody versus Tank. They're talking smack to each other, and this is like one of the couple of like adult in quotes jokes that were written in there. Cody's like, Tank's like, I'm gonna wipe the floor with you, and he goes, bring it on, pecker face. And then Tank just goes, pecker face. Like, if you
I thought
so
because we looked at each other when he said that too. We looked over at each other. I was like,
pecker face.
He said that.
Yeah,
I was like, this is okay.
It's great.
This is a kids movie. This is great. I love this.
I'm trying to think of some other really good lines. Oh, the Chicken Joe being a chicken. There's a line where Cody's like, Chicken Joe didn't know his dad either. And it's again, like an old picture of his dad. And then it zooms out and it's a bucket of chicken.
Oh yeah. He's on the bucket of chicken.
Yeah. It's like, what's his, I can't remember. I couldn't tell you what his name is. It's like Mr. Chicken Joe. And then it zooms out and then adds in parentheses 6-piece combo, which is like unreal. That is so good.
Yeah, that's what I live for. Stuff like that.
Yeah, you kind of see these like, it was a cool movie when I was younger, and then like as you get older, I just appreciated little things like this.
And can we add that Zooey Deschanel has the voice of an angel?
Yes, she really does.
Oh my God.
She's a great singer too.
Yeah, she and him.
Yeah,
it's good stuff.
It's good time.
Does she have solo stuff too? I've only heard that stuff. I actually do like that.
I think she has like covers.
Like her voice is just great.
She's very good voice. If you watch the show, New Girl.
Oh, I was just gonna say it.
Yeah,
I recently watched it. Probably within the last, I would say 2 years ago is the first time I sat down and watched it.
That show is
awesome. Oh my God! Yeah, you probably relate. You wear glasses. That's kind of your show.
I'm big glasses wearer.
Every day.
I wake up in pain.
I don't know why that's a
thing.
Because I mean, it doesn't really add anything. Like you don't need to wear glasses to watch that show. But
I just think it's just funny to me. You'd be like, oh, obviously I know this because I wear glasses. Yeah. Like, what is that?
Yeah, it doesn't.
No
make
one
any
cares
sense.
about that.
Not like most things I say. It doesn't make sense. But yeah, she's great. So would you say that? I feel like we just did the Sandlot and we're doing this, and there's a general theme that I didn't realize how bad he was at surfing.
Yeah,
and how bad Smalls was at baseball. And then at one point, someone just like, you just got to have fun. And all of a sudden, they're like, hey, check this out. I'm in the barrel. He's like,
it's like, don't give up. Just like, yeah,
and it's just
I
like,
don't know.
wait a second. So the moral of the story is just have fun, and you can literally be an Olympic athlete.
Yeah.
That's how Michael Phelps made it. He just said,
he had fun, smoked a little pot.
I'm going to have fun. I'm going to get zooted, get in that pool, and no one can stop me.
And turn into a little dolphin.
Just make sure I have 12 McDonald's cheeseburgers ready to go because I need to fuel this tank.
Yeah. That's pretty.
I don't know.
That is wild.
Like
I mean, if we tried to do that at work, I don't think it would have the same effect.
I mean, I try to do that all the time. I just eat double Chipotle, and then I just get sick at my desk.
And then...
Yeah, I spit in people's hair when they walk by. That's a bit that we don't need to get into, but it doesn't make any sense.
It really doesn't. Even I was going to say, but like
in context, there was no.
It really doesn't. Make
I think
sense.
One of us just said, "Could you imagine if you just spit in people's hair when they walk by?" But it was just like this.
It was just the noise.
Yeah. But so you didn't actually spit in their hair, but they're always just like,
"What did you do?" And you're
just like, turn around real quick. Like,
just. Anyway, all right, I gotta cut. No, I can't cut any of that.
You can't cut that. Keep that. But yeah, so do you have any more? You have any more of that? Where that came from?
There's the piece where they first get to the island, Pengu Island, from the whale, and Chicken Joe tries squid on a stick.
Oh,
and he gives it to Cody, and he said it tastes like chicken, but cuts it off, and he's like, "What?"
he's like,
"Yeah, it's shit." Like, and then it's just they just dump that whole scene. Like, Chicken Joe meets some natives called penguins.
Oh, I love them. They almost sound like minions.
Yeah, they're just
my God.
They're supposed to be like native to that island, and it's like a tribe of penguins, and their tribe is called Penguins because they're on Pengu Island.
God, dude, that one scene killed me.
What do you want to talk about that scene?
Where he's like, yeah, they were basically. I forget what he says. I'm not good with the quotes from this, but he's like, yeah, they were bound down to me, they were just like.
I was their king.
I was their king. And they're like doing this tribal dance, but they have this big pot of water, and they put him in it, and they start putting seasoning in there and stuff. Yeah. And he's like, yeah,
he's like, they put me in their royal hot tub.
They were gonna obviously cook him.
Yeah, it's so good.
So they didn't cook him, which would have been a really weird twist to this movie.
Yeah,
it wouldn't have been PG anymore.
Not great.
Yeah, but so they didn't cook him, and then he ended up being like one. They accepted him.
Yeah, because he showed them, as he says, squidito on el stickito. Do you remember that?
I don't know what
he
that
shows
means.
them squid on a stick.
Oh, okay.
And they bite
the words
it,
you
and
said,
he goes,
I have
that
no
is
idea.
Squidito on el sticko.
Oh, okay.
And then in their net language, which they have subtitles, they just said, tastes like chicken. And all of them are like, yeah! That's so stupid.
Well, they come back. They're at the end. They're chanting Cody, I think, at the end.
Yeah, they're like all...
Cody. They're all around him.
Yeah, Chicken Joe's like his boys, just like there. It's just such a... There's so many scenes that you're like, oh, like obviously this is a goofy kids movie, but like thinking about how they had to sit down and write some of these.
Oh my God,
it must have been. It's incredible that they got some of these.
I will say one of my low key favorites is Arnold, the little. He's like wider than he is tall.
Yeah,
the little kid penguin, and he keeps literally just trying to run into the water.
Yeah, because Lonnie saves him.
Lonnie's just saving him the whole time. Oh, and her
her life
preserver is a squid.
Yeah, it's like a red squid.
Oh, the one Chicken Joe thing. I don't know if you have it down, but and I don't know what it is, but he's like, where are my nuggets?
He's like, I'm getting close to Cody. I can feel it. In my nuggets.
I can feel it in my nuggets.
Feel it in my nuggets. So he's got a bunch of great lines. There's one in the beginning when he first meets Lonnie. The little kid's drowning, and she goes, "Oh crap," and then runs back to go and save him. And he's like, "I'm in love." And Joe's like, you gotta go talk to her, dude. She called you crap. It's so stupid. So he saves that little kid, Arnold.
Yeah.
And she's like, there's like some throwaway dialogue. And she's like, I just think, you've been unconscious 6 times this week. I don't think it's very good for your brain. And he goes, thank you, Miss Lonnie. In his little voice. It's so funny.
Yeah, oh my God. Whenever they cut to the 3 kids doing the interview, that kills me.
The one kid has the fucking hiccups during one of them. It's so good. Man, I think some of those, like the interviewing, like the confessionals, are funnier than the actual plot.
But that's what I mean. Like on paper, I would be like, at this point in my life, I'm like, okay, I didn't see it. It's like getting into U2 now.
Oh yeah.
You're like, oh yeah, I just got. Have you heard like U2?
Yeah.
Oh, they're so good. It's just like
They're so good.
like it's not something I would do. It's not something I'd recommend. But after seeing it, I'm like, oh, this is I watch this again.
We were talking about, I think in the last episode we were talking about musicals. You were like, I just didn't have like an into this movie.
Yeah, like
you never
them.
would have picked this movie out of all the movies out there.
I only saw Rocky Horror a couple years ago, which is crazy.
That is crazy.
Because everybody's like, oh, dude, Rocky Horror, you know?
Yeah, but this is why, you know, to people listening, definitely like send us recommendations. We really love to watch. We love finding new movies like this. Like I was excited. I think this was the first movie that I was like, Keith, you should watch this, and you're like, I've never seen this.
Except The Sound of Music. Don't recommend that. Don't recommend that. Please don't.
Keith gets super mad about The Sound of Music for no reason.
But I'm not allowed to watch it now. I've seen it as a kid, but I'm not allowed to watch it because of what I said.
As an adult, you are banned from watching a movie.
Yeah, I'm not allowed to watch it, so don't recommend it.
Legally, we are not allowed to recommend it.
That's what you're saying. You're like, yeah, you have to see this movie. Well, My Blue Heaven was the last movie that I hadn't seen. No, My Blue Heaven. You give me My Blue Heaven. You give me Swiss Army Man.
Yeah.
So it was already 2 for 2. So I'm like, all right, you know what? He's not going to steer me wrong with this. Yeah. So me and Olivia looked at each other and we were like, is this going to be a good movie? And as soon as it started, it wasn't even like 20 minutes in. I was like, oh, this is awesome.
Yeah. Oh, out of the gate, there's even funny lines. Like they're interviewing Cody. He's like talking about his town. He's like, yeah, this is where I work. This is where we sort the fish. He's like, this is literally the dumbest thing I've ever heard of in my entire life. But yeah, I just work there.
And they're just throwing fish in these giant piles.
Yeah.
Did you smack them in the face?
There's the 3 old penguins. The one is like, I started at the mackerel pile, and then I worked my way up to the gefilte fish pile.
Oh, yeah, gefilte fish.
Gefilte fish pile.
Dude,
and I was like, that is so funny. Like that, those old guys just like, they're all rambling at the same time. No one's listening to them, and they just keep one by one falling through the ice.
Yeah, those are the dudes outside the Wawa.
Yeah, they're doing scratch
standing around the trash can, eating a hoagie,
telling you about their stories.
Newspapers talking in the back of their pants.
Yeah, it's yesterday's paper. They just keep it as a prop at this point. But anyway, did you have anything else for this movie? I think we kind of did this one to death.
No, I mean, I would watch more animated. We had seen 101 Dalmatians again recently, and I was like, you know what? Like, I would watch more of this stuff. Like, is it stuff that
there's some good ones out there? Yeah,
it isn't stuff that I would put on, but when it's on, I'm down.
Yeah.
So yeah.
What would be one other, and then we'll wrap this up. Where does this rank on like your animated movies? What is your favorite animated movie?
I don't even like as an adult or as a kid.
As an adult,
doesn't matter.
Yeah, like for me, this Surf's Up gets it. Like this is my favorite animated movie as an adult.
I don't even know what I would say is my favorite animated movie. Like,
there's just too many.
No, I just don't watch them enough. Yeah. Like you could name 10, and I'd be like, oh, that's a cool movie.
Yeah, that's good. Like Monsters Inc. You've seen that?
Oh, Monsters Inc. I do like, and Monsters U. Monster University.
That was good.
There's only 2, right?
No, it was Monster. Yeah, no, I think
they
made a second one. I think they might have made a second one.
So Monsters Inc. was great when it came out, and then Monsters U, that was
pretty recent. That was like 20, not pretty. I guess it was like
2015,
2016.
And I thought that was good. There was like that weird 3-eyed monster I really liked in that one.
Yeah,
Scotty or something.
Yeah.
Wow, I can't remember that.
That's good. You can't remember who I am.
Yeah, I don't know, dude.
So I didn't call out at the beginning. So this movie was released in 2007, had a budget of $100 million. That's got to be all cast. That's got to be 100 or animation, because the animation like wildly holds up. And I mean, I was
19 or 17.
Yeah, 2000 when this came out, 2007. Yeah. I don't know.
17.
Okay.
Yeah. So sure. I would have been too old.
The people don't know.
I was not excited to see this in 2007.
Yeah. And it made $152 million, which is pretty good. I think the animation really holds up in this. Yeah. Go out and watch this one. I don't want to keep talking about because I'm going to get excited and go on.
And yes, you can have an animated and mockumentary movie. I
Shout out to our friend.
I said this to somebody. They're like, wait, how can it be a mockumentary and animated? And I was like,
you're like, it just is.
Those things are not exclusive. I don't know what else to tell you.
Bud.
But yeah, this is good. Co-signed.
Nice. All right. Well, that's all we had for this one. Give us some. We've been getting a couple more 5-star ratings on Spotify. We really appreciate it. Share us around if you're liking the content. Feel free to reach out to us. We are at What Are We Watching on all social media and all that fun stuff. Send us emails at whatarewewatching@gmail.com. We will see you guys next time.